What if a simple red string tied around your wrist could grow your bank account? At first, it may sound like nothing more than superstition, a ritual without substance. But pause for a moment and think about how humans have always used symbols. A wedding ring, a national flag, a family heirloom, none of these objects hold power on their own. But the meaning we give them transforms them into anchors of identity, promises, and purpose. The red string works in the same way. Pay attention. That's why I have a simple invitation for you right now. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell to receive every practice and teaching on abundance. Like this video and share it with someone who also needs to connect with the frequency of prosperity. And write in the comments, I choose abundance now. Across cultures, from Kabbalah in Jewish mysticism to traditions in Hinduism and Buddhism, a red string has been worn as a symbol of protection, focus, and commitment. It is believed to ward off negativity, to act as a shield against distractions, and to serve as a constant reminder of vows made to oneself or to something greater. People have tied red strings around their wrists, not because the thread itself has magic, but because it creates accountability. Every time they see it, they remember who they are and what they've promised to do. Now imagine pairing that timeless symbol with one of the most powerful financial habits known: saving a fixed percentage of your income every time money flows into your hands. This is not superstition, it's a proven formula for building wealth over time. The principle is simple. Instead of waiting to see what's left at the end of the month, you decide ahead of time that a percentage, say 20%, belongs to your future. You move it immediately into savings or investments before you spend a single dollar elsewhere. Here's where the red string changes everything. For most people, saving feels difficult because it's invisible. The money that could have been saved slips through daily decisions, dinners out, impulse purchases, subscriptions never used. Without a tangible reminder, the habit fades. But when you tie a red string around your wrist, you give saving a symbol. Each time you glance at your hand, you see more than thread, you see your vow. It whispers, I save and grow. I am committed to my future. And this changes the way you interact with money. Suddenly, saving isn't just a financial task on your to-do list. It becomes part of your identity. You're no longer someone who hopes to save. You're someone who vows to save. And identity creates discipline. Just as a ring reminds someone of their commitment to a partner, the string reminds you of your commitment to prosperity. The magic lies in the pairing. On its own, the red string is symbolic but intangible. On its own, the 20% savings rule is logical but often abandoned. But together, they form a ritual plus a strategy. The ritual grounds you emotionally. The strategy grows you financially. That's how a simple piece of thread, tied with intention, can become the doorway to abundance. It's not the string that builds your bank account, it's the discipline it awakens within you. Here's the promise: when you tie a red string around your wrist, you are not simply wearing a thread, you are creating a vow. You are anchoring yourself to a deeper level of discipline and reminding your subconscious every single day that you are committed to growth. And when you combine this symbolic ritual with one of the most practical and powerful money habits, the 20% savings rule, you unlock a pathway to prosperity that is steady, reliable, and transformative. The red string by itself is a symbol, but symbols are powerful because they speak directly to your subconscious mind. Every time you glance at your wrist, you receive a silent message. Stay committed. Stay focused. Protect your future. It is a physical reminder that prosperity is not built on random luck, but on consistent action. It takes your invisible goals and makes them visible, tangible, and alive in your daily routine. Now, add the 20% savings rule into this equation. This principle is simple, yet revolutionary. Take 20% of every paycheck or income you receive and move it immediately into savings or investments. Don't wait until the end of the month. Don't let it be optional. Treat it as non-negotiable like rent or electricity. By doing so, you flip the script. Instead of saving what's left, you're paying yourself first. You're declaring that your future deserves priority over impulse spending. The promise is that this combination, ritual plus rule, creates both mindset and method. The ritual, the red string, aligns your emotions and focus. The rule, 20% savings, guarantees mathematical growth. Together, they transform your relationship with money from one of stress and scarcity into one of discipline and abundance. And the results compound over time. Imagine saving 20% of your income month after month. At first, it may feel small, maybe just a few $100s. But with each cycle, your balance grows. Over a year, you could accumulate thousands. Over a decade, tens of thousands. Add interest, investments, and discipline, and suddenly the red string on your wrist is no longer just a symbol, it's a reminder of the wealth you've actually built. This is the promise. Prosperity isn't a distant dream. It's not reserved for the lucky or the privileged. It's the natural outcome of aligning intention with action. The red string keeps your vow alive, and the savings percentage ensures that vow translates into real numbers in your account. Prosperity becomes inevitable because you've created a system that blends the mystical with the practical, the symbolic with the scientific. So when you tie that red string and whisper your vow, know this: you are not just wearing protection, you are wearing commitment. And when you set aside 20% of your income, you are not just saving money, you are building the foundation of your freedom. Together, they form a promise to yourself that cannot be broken. The promise that your discipline will create your abundance. Sarah's story is living proof that a small ritual, when paired with a practical system, can transform a financial life. For years, Sarah struggled with saving money. She earned enough to cover her bills and even indulge in small luxuries. But at the end of each month, she was left with little or nothing in her account. She told herself she would start saving next month, but that month never came. It wasn't that she didn't want to save, it was that saving always felt optional, something she could push aside whenever another expense or desire appeared. One day, a close friend introduced her to the red string ritual. The friend tied a simple red thread around Sarah's wrist and explained its meaning: protection, commitment, and a reminder of vows. At first, Sarah laughed it off. How could a piece of string change her bank account? But as the days passed, she began to notice its quiet influence. Every time she looked at her wrist, the string seemed to whisper, "Stay committed. Protect your future. Keep your vow." Inspired by this symbolism, Sarah decided to anchor a new habit to it. She had heard of the 20% savings rule before, but she never stuck to it. This time, she tied her vow to the string. She set up an automatic transfer so that 20% of her paycheck went directly into a separate savings account the moment she was paid. It wasn't about willpower anymore, it was about honoring the promise she made when she tied the string. At first, it was uncomfortable. There were moments when she wished she had access to that money for shopping or eating out. But then she would see the string on her wrist and remember, "My vow is my wealth." She pushed through the discomfort and trusted the process. Months turned into a year, and Sarah was shocked at the difference. Her savings account, once empty, began to grow steadily. The balance crossed $1,000, then $5,000, and eventually $10,000. For the first time in her life, she felt secure. She wasn't just surviving paycheck to paycheck anymore. She was building a safety net, a foundation for her dreams. The red string had become more than a thread. It was a symbol of her transformation. Friends began asking how she managed to stay so disciplined, and Sarah would smile and point to her wrist. "This string keeps me focused, but the habit keeps me wealthy," she would say. Her story proves a simple truth. Rituals make habits sacred, and habits build results. The red string anchored her commitment, and the 20% rule turned that commitment into measurable growth. Sarah didn't need a miracle, she needed a reminder and a system. Together, they gave her something priceless, not just $10,000 in the bank, but the confidence of knowing she had taken control of her financial destiny. If there's one rule that can quietly transform your financial future, it's this: pay yourself first. That's the essence of the 20% savings rule. Before bills, before spending, before anything else, you take a portion of your income and put it aside for your future. The challenge most people face is not the math, but the discipline. That's where automation and a little symbolic help from the red string makes all the difference. Here's how it works. Decide on a percentage of your income to save. 20% is powerful because it's substantial enough to create meaningful progress, yet still manageable for most people with adjustments. But if 20% feels overwhelming at first, start smaller: 10% or even 5%. The percentage matters less than the habit. What matters most is that you commit to a consistent percentage of every paycheck. The key to success is automation. Human willpower is fragile. Distractions and temptations often win. If you wait until the end of the month to save whatever is left, chances are there will be nothing left. That's why the smartest move is to automate your savings. Set up an automatic transfer that moves money directly from your checking account to a separate savings or investment account the moment your paycheck arrives. By doing this, saving becomes invisible. You don't have to think about it, debate it, or fight with yourself about whether you can afford to save. It just happens. Think of it as tying your financial vow into a system. The red string around your wrist symbolizes your promise. The automation ensures that promise is kept even when life gets busy. Together, they create accountability on two levels: emotional and practical. The string reminds you daily of your commitment, and the system ensures your bank account reflects it. Let's make this practical with an example. Imagine you earn $2,000 a month. By automating 20%, you move $400 directly into savings or investments. At first, it might feel like a sacrifice, but over a year, that's nearly $5,000 set aside without relying on willpower. And if you invest that money in a simple growth account or retirement fund, compounding will multiply it even further. Another key tip: make your savings account harder to touch. Use a separate bank or an account without a debit card. The more distance between your spending account and your savings, the less temptation you'll feel to dip into it. Think of it as building a protective wall around your future. Pair all this with the ritual of the red string. Each time you glance at it, remember, I save and grow. It's not just money accumulating in your account. It's proof that you are disciplined, focused, and building a foundation for your dreams. The lesson is simple: don't leave saving to chance. Automate it, anchor it with ritual, and let time do the rest. Your future self will thank you, not just for the money you saved, but for the peace, freedom, and security you created. Throughout history, human beings have turned to symbols to anchor their beliefs and commitments. The red string is one of those enduring symbols. In Jewish Kabbalah, it is worn on the left wrist to protect against negative energy. In Hinduism, it is tied during rituals as a vow of devotion. In Buddhism, monks use it as a reminder of mindfulness and compassion. Across cultures, one meaning repeats: the red string represents protection, focus, and an unbroken promise. Mystically, it acts like a shield against distraction and weakness, guiding the wearer back to intention each time their eyes catch the bright thread. Now let's pair that with the scientific side. Behavioral psychology shows us that habits are far more likely to stick when they are anchored to cues. A cue is anything that triggers a behavior, a sound, a sight, or even a physical object. The red string becomes exactly that: a daily visual cue reminding you of your vow to save. Instead of relying on memory or motivation, you've created an external reminder. This is not magic. It's habit science. The brain responds to patterns, and by linking a symbol to an action, you strengthen the connection between intention and behavior. Science also supports the 20% savings rule. Economists and financial planners emphasize that the percentage-based method works better than saving whatever is left. Why? Because it flips your priorities. Rather than treating saving as optional, you treat it as essential. It's rooted in a principle known as paying yourself first. Studies have shown that people who automate a fixed percentage into savings consistently build greater wealth than those who save irregularly. It removes uncertainty, discipline becomes effortless, and over time, the compounding effect transforms small amounts into significant assets. Here's where mystical and scientific beautifully overlap. Mystically, the string anchors your vow. Scientifically, that vow becomes a trigger for action. Mystically, saving money becomes a sacred act of protection, shielding your future from scarcity. Scientifically, the percentage rule ensures discipline and measurable growth. One addresses your inner world, the other your outer results. Even neuroscience confirms this connection. When you repeat a vow like, "I save and grow," while looking at your red string, you're reinforcing neural pathways in the brain. Pair that with the automatic savings transfer, and you've linked belief to behavior. Over time, those pathways strengthen, making saving not just a task but part of your identity. You stop thinking, "I should save," and start believing, "I am a saver, I am disciplined. I build wealth." The mystical gives your practice meaning, while the scientific gives it structure. Without meaning, systems often fail. Without systems, meaning alone doesn't create results. But when you combine them, when you tie the red string as a vow and set the 20% savings rule as a system, you create a holistic practice that engages your spirit, your mind, and your bank account. So the truth is simple. Strings anchor vows, and percentages anchor wealth. Together, they make discipline sacred and prosperity inevitable. Rituals are powerful because they turn abstract goals into concrete actions. They give structure to your intentions and make discipline easier to maintain. The red string ritual plus savings percentage hack is designed to combine a symbolic anchor with a practical financial system. Follow these steps to bring it into your daily life, and watch how a simple thread and a simple rule can reshape your future. Step 1. Tie the red string. Begin by finding a simple red string or thread. It doesn't have to be fancy or expensive. Its power comes from intention, not price. Tie it around your wrist while focusing on your vow to yourself. As you secure the knot, say aloud, "I save and grow." This transforms the string into more than fabric. It becomes a reminder of your commitment, a symbol that prosperity is now tied directly to your discipline. Step 2. Declare your vow. Once the string is tied, take a moment to pause. Look at it, touch it, and declare again, "My vow is my wealth." Feel the words as more than just affirmation. They are your new identity. From this moment on, you are someone who saves consistently and protects your future. Each glance at the string will reconnect you to this vow. Step 3. Set your percentage. Decide on the portion of your income you will save automatically. The classic rule is 20%, but if that feels too heavy right now, start smaller, 10% or even 5%. The key is consistency. Choose a percentage that you know you can sustain without breaking your vow. Remember, you can always increase it later as your confidence and capacity grow. Step 4. Automate the transfer. Log into your bank or financial app and set up an automatic transfer to a separate savings or investment account. Make it happen as soon as your paycheck arrives, not at the end of the month. This is the heart of the system. Automation makes saving effortless. Just as the red string silently reminds you of your vow, automation silently fulfills it in your bank account. Step 5. Protect your savings. Make your savings account harder to touch. Use a different bank, disable easy withdrawals, or avoid linking it to your main debit card. This small barrier ensures that the money you've promised to your future isn't casually spent in the present. It transforms your savings into a sacred space, untouched and protected. Step 6. Revisit the ritual. Every week or month, look at your red string, open your savings account, and acknowledge your progress. Whisper your vow again, "I save and grow." Let gratitude flood you as you see your balance increase. This reinforces the cycle: symbol plus system, intention plus action. Over time, the ritual becomes second nature. The red string reminds you who you are, and the 20% rule proves it with numbers. Together, they create a rhythm of prosperity that only strengthens with each paycheck, each glance, and each vow repeated. Every ritual needs a seal, a final phrase that transforms intention into identity. For the red string ritual, that phrase is, "My vow is my wealth." These 4 words may look simple, but together they carry a powerful vibration. They do more than remind you of your promise. They bind your identity to your financial future. Let's break it down. The first word, my, is about ownership. It signals that this vow doesn't belong to anyone else. It's not something imposed on you by a teacher, a book, or even this ritual. It's yours. The red string on your wrist is your personal reminder, your chosen symbol. Saying, "My" creates accountability. You're declaring, "This is my choice, my promise, and my responsibility." The word vow takes it deeper. A vow is not a casual intention. It's a sacred promise. Across cultures, vows are seen as binding commitments, whether in marriages, spiritual practices, or personal growth. A vow ties you to your word, making it unbreakable. By calling your savings practice a vow, you elevate it above a simple habit. You no longer try to save, you vow to save. That shift in language reshapes how your mind treats the act of putting money aside. Next comes is. It's easy to skip over, but it's the glue that fuses the vow with the wealth. Not will be, not might become, but is. This present tense declaration collapses the distance between your promise and its result. Each time you say it, you are claiming that your vow and your wealth are one and the same. The thread on your wrist is not just fabric. It is your bank account growing. It is your financial security in the making. Finally, wealth. Notice it doesn't say money. Wealth is more expansive. Wealth is freedom, stability, peace of mind, and opportunity. Wealth is the ability to choose the life you want without fear. By declaring that your vow is your wealth, you are affirming that every action you take towards saving isn't just about numbers, it's about building the foundation of your freedom and legacy. Here's how to use this activation phrase in practice. Each time you tie or adjust your red string, whisper it. My vow is my wealth. Each time you see it during the day before spending, while working, or when checking your account, say it again. And most importantly, each time your automatic transfer moves money into savings, take a moment to repeat it with gratitude. This turns the act of saving from a mechanical task into a sacred ritual. Over time, these words will become more than affirmation. They'll become truth. You'll stop seeing saving as a burden and start seeing it as an act of self-love and empowerment. Each glance at your wrist will remind you that you are someone who keeps promises to yourself. And each dollar saved will stand as proof that your vow is alive, working, and multiplying. Seal your ritual with confidence. My vow is my wealth. Now the red string is no longer just a thread. It's a symbol of the promise you've made to yourself. And here's the truth. The ritual only becomes real when you claim it. You've just seen how tying a red string around your wrist and committing to the 20% savings rule can transform your finances. But knowing is not enough. Transformation happens when you declare, when you act, and when you anchor that vow in your heart. So let's do it together right now. Look at your wrist. Even if you don't have the string yet, imagine it there. Imagine a bright red thread tied securely, glowing with energy, wrapping you in commitment protection. Take a deep breath and feel what it means to finally be in control of your money, to know that you are building security, freedom, and abundance with every paycheck. Now I want you to seal that intention with a declaration. Go to the comments and type these words in full. I save and grow. When you write it, don't do it half-heartedly. Write it with conviction, as if you're carving the vow into your future. This is not just a comment, It's your vow to yourself, witnessed by a community of others who are making the same choice. And when you scroll through and see dozens, maybe hundreds of people writing the same words, you'll realize you are not alone. We are all tying our strings, we are all saving, and we are all growing together. But don't stop at the comment, back it up with action. Open your banking app, set up that automatic transfer, and dedicate your chosen percentage to savings. Maybe it's 20%, maybe it's 10%. The important thing is that you start now. Let this be the moment where your vow becomes action. Imagine how proud you'll feel next month when you look at your account and see the balance growing. Imagine how safe you'll feel in a year when you've built your first real cushion of savings. Imagine how empowered you'll feel knowing you kept your vow and transformed it into wealth. And if you want to keep walking this path, don't do it alone. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another ritual, another tip, another practice to expand your abundance. Each video here is another string for your soul, another system for your money, another step toward the freedom you deserve. Finally, share this with someone you care about. Imagine giving them the same gift, a vow wrapped in a red string and a system wrapped in discipline. Invite them to join you so you can grow together. So here it is, your moment of choice. Breathe, feel your vow, and type it now in the comments. I save and grow. This is your declaration. This is your vow. And from today forward, every dollar saved will be proof that your promise is alive and your wealth is unstoppable.